No, 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 no! Now imagine there was an emergency outside the truck, an accident, something terrible on the ranch with a chainsaw. And I jump in this truck, but the truck, it won't shift into drive. Why? Because the cameras and sensors inside this cab won't let it shift, because it detects my eyes are big, there's a lot of emotion, there's some panic, and it doesn't feel that I'm fit to drive. Now that's not science fiction, that is happening because Ford just filed the patents. Ford actually has a series of patents down at the US Patent and Trade Office that deal with the sensors and cameras inside the cab of their truck. And if the sensors in that truck determine that you're not fit to drive, that truck will not actually shift from park to drive. Now they already have a system called telematics, and that's where they can actually pull up cameras in real time inside the cab of their fleet vehicles. Now, they actually market this to insurance companies because the truth is, this is really about who owns the data and who owns the liability. Now, your name might actually be on the title of this truck, and you may have paid for it, but you don't own it. Now, Ford didn't file just one patent. They filed a stack of them, all within months of each other. Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you, this one puts you in jail. Ford filed a patent, serial number 0104469, where the system takes your biometric data, your face, your iris, and your fingerprint, and it runs it through a criminal database in real time. While you're sitting in your own truck, think about what that means. You wake up one morning, you walk out to your driveway, you climb into a vehicle with your name on the title, on property with your name on the deed, and before you go anywhere, before you've done a single thing wrong, your truck is already running your face through a law enforcement database. Ford's own patent language describes this as potentially useful for police. They wrote that. Ford wrote that into the patent application. So the question isn't whether this technology can be abused. Ford already told you who it's for. You just didn't know that you were buying a cop car. Now I'm going to walk you through a few of these patents. Lip reading, cameras inside your cab, machine learning trained on lip movement datasets, cloud connected, your face processed somewhere you'll never see, stored as long as they want. Acoustic lip reading, if the cameras aren't enough, the system emits inaudible sound waves and reads the echoes bouncing off of your mouth. You can't see it, it's just happening. Biometrics, your face, fingerprint, iris, filed February 2024, and it was published August 2025. This one is assigned a serial number because it's real. Ad listening, this is scary. It monitors conversations between everyone in the cab. It serves targeted ads based on what you and others are talking about while you're driving. In Ford's words, maximum opportunity for ad-based monetization. No description of how that data is protected either. None. How about Ford Pro Telematics? Now this one isn't a patent. This one is actually a product page. Right now, fleet managers can pull live in-cabin video feeds of drivers on their phones. Ford markets seatbelt compliance alerts with the explicit benefit of lowering insurance costs. They said it themselves. This is the infrastructure, and once the infrastructure exists, it's going to get used and abused. Now, Ford isn't alone in this. This is an arms race. Smart Eye driver monitoring software is already in over 2 million cars globally. The EU's general safety regulation mandates drowsiness systems as standard equipment going forward. GM deployed biometric seat sensors and heart rate monitoring in production trucks.
Wow, just scary. Big props to Just Don Vlogs. He does some good work over there as well. Yep, folks, all of our cars are getting ready to spy on us. Oh, yes, they are. All right, folks, welcome back to Straight Out of the Cannon with me, Scott Cannon, here on WLTH 1370 AM. That's 92.7 in the FM dial. It is Friday, May Day, May the 1st, 2026, 6:51 in the PM. The future is here. The future is now. And folks, the future is not looking so good. It is not looking so good. Welcome to our segment, While You Were Sleeping. While you were sleeping. Now, it was easy. It might be easy to forget what was happening in the year 2021 because, hey, we were in the middle of the worst pandemic in modern history. 2021 is when everybody started getting up in their arms. The totally safe. Yeah. And 21 is when we first started to get back to our lives and do normal stuff again after a disastrous 2020. So it might be understandable if you don't forget the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that was passed by Congress in 2021. This bill included a statute requiring all new cars to have driver monitoring systems designed to detect impaired drivers. This bill gave automakers 3 years to develop the technology, which should roll out in 2027. Yes. Yes. By 2027. Next year. Next year. These cars are expected to have all of this spy technology in it. Now, it's not just about being spied on or you know, your freedoms and rights being trampled on. That's bad enough. But these cars will have a kill switch built into them. Imagine you're driving your car like, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, and your car just cuts off while you're driving it. Or say you're trying to get home from work and the car just cuts off. Let's just say it doesn't start at all. You're trying to get to work. You just had an argument with your wife or your husband, and you're a little bit upset. And let me just get in this car and go to work. And the kill switch has been activated. You can't drive your car. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the debate is really now whether that's just for the manufacturers like Ford and Chevy and Toyota and all these other, you know, car companies, General Motors, or whether the government will have some type of access to this more broadly. So, again, this is where we always end up at. Ever since 9/11, since the Patriot Act, really, we have been on a slippery slope towards complete mass surveillance. AI, artificial intelligence, is just the final stage of that process. Every new car in the U.S. will be required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on drivers by next year. AI in your car will determine if you are sober and fit to drive and will automatically turn off your vehicle if it determines that you're a danger on the road. Part of the bill mandating the impaired driver prevention tech requires the NHTSA to determine exactly how to implement these laws. Automakers will likely rely heavily on in-car cameras and sensors that continuously monitor drivers, raising privacy concerns that the agency is aware of. You don't always own the data that your car produces. So that's not your data. It's their data when you buy the car. And mandating cameras only increases the potential collection of your information. Every discussion you have, in theory, can be turned into a data point to be used against you. Think about that. Not only will these car companies have evidence of every conversation you have, everything you do. If you pick your nose, they know it. If you fart, they know it. What you eat. I mean, God forbid, let's just say you're having an affair. What's to stop these car companies or the government from exposing you or threatening to expose you? What if you're a political dissident? What if you're against the Trump administration? What if you support Black Lives Matter or abortion or gay or trans rights? Or if you're pro-labor, this is May Day. We celebrate May Day here on Straight Out of the Cannon. Mayday, mayday, mayday. What if you work for Ford and you're planning on protesting against Ford and you drive a Ford? Are they going to pull the kill switch on your vehicle? Many modern vehicles already have driver monitoring systems designed to detect drowsiness, inattention, and sudden sickness. The NHTSA is researching these systems to see if they can accurately detect impaired driving. One concern the agency has is that many cars also have driver's assistance features such as lane keep assist that could mask certain impaired driving behaviors. So this is where we're at. This is where we're at. They always use a public safety issue to usher in mass surveillance. They use terrorism as an excuse to take your rights. In 2001, 2002, that's why we have the Department of Homeland Security right now, which I don't believe should exist. What you're seeing ICE do in the streets, that is a product of George W. Bush and his administration. They created ICE in 2003. And now we have ICE in the streets of America basically acting as Donald Trump's personal kill and harassment squad. People who aren't even illegal citizens are being murdered by ICE. Renee Good, Keith, I forget what the brother's name was. Keith Porter, Alex Preddy, American citizens, nothing illegal about any of them, murdered by ICE. That is what happens when you live in a fascist surveillance state. They'll say, well, we're after this. This is why the war on drugs has been so disastrous, especially in black communities. Richard Nixon starts the war on drugs in 1971, says we're going to get all the drugs out. Well, we know now, thanks to his own aides like John Ehrlichman, that he started the war on drugs to disrupt black communities and hippies. He hated hippies. He hated blacks. He looked at the war on drugs as an opportunity to send the government assassins and the government institutions after black leaders, hippie leaders at the time. But the difference is white people could stop being hippies. Black people can't stop being black. And so what did we get? 50 years of mass incarceration. Black men, the most incarcerated people in the country. Generations of police brutalizing black men all over America in the name of stopping the war on drugs. Civil rights trampled left and right. Like in LA, where they purposely hired racists from the Jim Crow South who were Vietnam veterans to patrol the black communities. That's how you end up with people like Mark Furman, who was costing the LAPD hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits before the OJ trial ever even happened because he was setting up black men for crimes they didn't commit. That is how you get to that point. It's always a safety issue. We got to get drugs off the street. We got to stop terrorism. You know, then it becomes, well, we can't have Russia and Vladimir Putin influencing our elections. And so nobody can have an opinion about anything. You can't have that opinion. It's too similar to something that Vladimir Putin would say. You have to lose your job. You have to be deplatformed on social media. Your Twitter page has to be taken down. You can't talk about Ukrainian Nazis. That's what Vladimir Putin would say. You can't turn down the vaccine. We'll take your kids. We'll make you lose your job. Everybody supports their element of the surveillance state until it's too late. They just keep getting it. They keep getting away with it because they always find enough idiots to go along with it. Enough people who are willing to be led. Oh, well, we got to do anything to stop drugs. If we need to incarcerate the whole black community, okay, let's do that. Okay, we got to do anything to stop terrorism. If we got to trample on civil liberties and have the government listening on everyone's phone calls, so be it. We got to stop Russia. So if we got to take people's social media accounts and have people put on trial, so be it. We got to stop immigration. So if we got to have ICE agents murdering American citizens in the streets, so be it. We got to stop drunk drivers. And so if we got to have all these cameras and sensors in these cars and kill switches in the cars to stop drunk drivers, it's always a public safety issue. Always. This is why it's important to have an actual coherent political consciousness and a coherent political agenda that does not change regardless of whether the Democrats are in office or the Republicans are in office, whether you like Trump, whether you hate Trump, whether you like Obama, whether you hate Obama, whether you like Hillary Clinton, or whether you dislike. You have to have a consistent moral political compass. And most people just don't. And that's how we ended up here. In 2021, I barely even remember hearing about this bill in the media. I mean, I heard at least this segment of it. I had no idea in 2021, Congress put this into the bill requiring new cars to have all the driver monitoring systems designed to detect impaired drivers. What they say, at least. Did anybody even cover it? And I have to remind you guys that this is what all those data centers are for. The data centers are for this, mass surveillance. It is not to make cat videos. It is not to watch, it is not because people watch porn on the internet. It's not because people tweet on Twitter. It is not because people face on Facebook or stunt on Instagram. People were doing that before there was a data center in every neighborhood. No, these data centers are for this, to store all the information they are getting about you from your car. They know if you're having an affair. They know if you're cheating on your diet. They know that you hate your boss. They know everything about you. And they're keeping that data stored so they can use it whenever they need it. You want to run for office? Oh, you think you're going to actually change things in Washington, D.C.? Why don't we pull up this video of you cheating on your wife in your Ford Focus? Oh, man. Oh, man, you think you actually want to protest something? How about, remember that time you said that racial slur when that guy cut you off in traffic? Oh, yeah, we got you saying it. We know you say the N-word a lot. We know you use all kinds of racial slurs or whatever. They got video of you saying and doing everything in these cars. And also while you were sleeping, just this week, the House on Wednesday passed a 3-year reauthorization of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Accountability Act by a vote of 235 to 191. This program actually allows the federal government to collect communications of foreigners. They say it's for foreigners abroad without a warrant, including when those people are interacting with Americans. Yeah. So they are spying on you by proxy. They're saying, oh, well, you're on the phone with somebody in Saudi Arabia, so we can monitor your calls. We can invade your privacy because you're on the phone with somebody from Iran. This surveillance tool was first authorized in 2008. This was under George W. Bush, right before Obama got in office. And it's been renewed several times since then, including by Joe Biden. The backdoor search loophole in this bill was used to spy on Black Lives Matter protesters in 2020. This is what they used in 2020 to put all those Black Lives Matter protesters in jail. Now, according to the Office of the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, who has zero integrity whatsoever, the U.S. government believes that it's a vital tool for protecting the country against hostile foreign adversaries, including terrorists, proliferators, and spies, and to inform cybersecurity efforts. Yeah, this is why you can't give these people that power. You go along with this because it's Joe Biden implementing it, or Obama implementing it, or George W. Bush, or Donald Trump, depending on who you vote for. But always have to remind people, the other guy's going to get in power one day too. This is, again, why I preach having a consistent moral compass that does not just depend on, well, I like this guy, so I'll go along with any Orwellian, draconian laws he introduced or she introduces because I like them. The other guy's going to use that to cut your throat when he gets in office. Then what? Your guy's not going to be in office forever. Your gal's not going to be in office forever. I don't care who they are. Then what? You want the Republicans to have access to that tool? You want the Democrats to have access to that tool? You're a damn fool. You're a damn fool. All right, folks. Sorry, caller, you waited too late to call. After this has been a very heavy first hour of the show. It's 7:09 in the PM, so you know what time it is. Darn it, it's time for the Happy Happies. We'll be right back after these.